No one wants to waste money, but that feeling of wastefulness, especially when it comes to decluttering, you feel like you're wasting money or you're wasting the item or you're adding to landfills. That wastefulness is the number one reason why people just don't let go. Before I jump into this video, I want to ask you guys a huge favor. I am almost to 800,000 subscribers. This would be such a huge dream for me. If you like these type of videos, hit that subscribe button right now and let's jump in. The reality of the situation is everything in our house cost money. Everything we bought, we paid for, we traded money for the thing, or somebody else bought it for us. And so when we see everything as the money it would cost either to replace it or the money that we spent on it, this makes it feel very hard to let go. The real root of the issue is that we are taught to acquire. We're taught to buy new things. It feels good. It's like we're sad. Let's have some retail therapy. Advertisers literally spend billions of dollars to trick us into thinking we need to purchase and buy all of this new stuff. But we're not really taught what to do with it when we're done with it or what to do with the excess. We're not taught that letting go is just part of life. The consequences of this are definitely homes that are filling up fast. In just a few years, you can feel like you're being suffocated. Everywhere you look, there is stuff. It's those late night Amazon purchases you made because you were very bored, or you were watching TikTok and you had to have it, or the Christmas gifts from Great Aunt Betty that you don't even like, that you just find a spot for somewhere, or all the stuff your kids have outgrown, or all the sporting equipment that no one's using that we just shove in the garage or the basement for some unknown reason. Before we know it, the stuff in our home is actually interfering with our everyday life. We can't find things. We're always losing things. We're late all the time. We have to move things just to use space in our home, like the kitchen table. And then we think the solution to this problem is buying a bigger house or buying organizing products to solve the problem of excess stuff. The worst thing we can do is rent a storage locker that we're paying money for every single month to put the excess stuff we probably shouldn't have bought in the first place and we're certainly not using into storage. And the crazy thing is 1 in 10 families in North America are paying for a storage unit every single month. The hard truth is, if we're not decluttering on a regular basis, honestly, weekly or monthly, if we are not getting things out of our house just like we vacuum the floor or do the dishes on a regular basis, we will be suffocating in our stuff in no time at all. So how do we break this cycle of buying and acquiring and then shoving and hiding, and just how do we break the cycle of clutter? We have to change our mindset when it comes to our stuff. We can't see our stuff for the value that it costs to buy or the value that it costs to replace, but instead see it for what it's costing us. And that's what I'm going to talk about right now. I'm just going to shake up your world, friends, so that you stop seeing things as money and start seeing it for what it really is. The first way that clutter costs us is our health. There have been a bazillion studies that have shown the direct correlation between our clutter and our mess in our home and us being sick. Especially for women, it's because it stresses us out. Let's be honest. Messy homes and cluttered homes causes stress, and stress raises cortisol levels. High cortisol levels cause trouble sleeping, headaches and migraine, raised blood pressure, increased blood sugar, hormonal fluctuations, stomach issues. Cortisol can also trigger autoimmune diseases. I know when I was super stressed out, that was the trigger that turned on my Hashimoto's that I still have to this day. Research has shown that people who struggle with lots of excess stuff and messy homes are 77% more likely to be obese. So yeah, your stuff is actually making you sick and potentially overweight too. The next way that our clutter is costing us is our happiness. There was recently a huge 50-year-long study that showed your state of your home, like the mess and the clutter in your home, has a greater impact on your happiness than how much money you make or how much you like your career. And I was excited to read that, but also that's kind of bonkadonks. Like the state of your home directly affects your happiness more than a lot of other factors. I definitely felt this firsthand when I was really living with a lot of stuff and a lot of clutter. I was unhappy, but I also felt really guilty doing things that were fun. I felt guilty going out with my friends or even watching a movie or engaging in hobbies that I loved because I felt like I should be dealing with the mess and the clutter instead. Even though I was procrastinating doing that stuff, it's still like I was denying myself pleasure because I felt so much shame about the state of my house. And I think the most surprising thing is I didn't even realize the correlation. Most people don't realize the correlation. We do not realize that our messy, cluttered home is making us miserable. The third way that our clutter is costing us is relationships. This number shocked me. Are you ready? A whopping 25% of people who get divorced because their house is messy. And mostly they're fighting over whose mess is it and who's going to clean it. They're fighting over household chores, and 25% of couples are divorcing for this reason. And here's why I'm surprised. I thought that number would be way higher. In my own marriage, I never divorced my husband, but I thought about it a whole heck of a lot. When we were drowning in clutter, I was so resentful of my husband and my family. We were always fighting over who was going to do the chores and who left the mess out. And it caused an enormous rift in our relationship. And not just with your spouse. A messy home affects relationships because you're embarrassed to have people over. You're less likely to invite in the neighbors or friends or family to come visit you because you're embarrassed and stressed out by the clutter in your home. The absolute saddest way that clutter affects relationships is children. I personally know of a ton of families who don't let their kids have friends over because they're embarrassed by the mess in the home. And I think that is heartbreaking. This next way that clutter costs us is definitely ironic because we're so worried about letting go of things because it costs money and we don't want to waste money, but holding on to stuff is actually costing us money. For most of us, the most expensive thing we actually own is our house. Either we're paying a mortgage or we're renting an apartment. We're paying for the square footage, and yet we are wasting that square footage by storing junk we don't even like. For the past 12 years, I had an entire garage that I could not park in because I was storing stuff that was actually just trash or things I had to donate. I was paying storage fees, basically. I'm paying my mortgage every month, and a huge portion of that is going to rooms I'm not even using. If you have a spare room or a basement storage room, a junk room, you are wasting thousands of dollars every single year. But the other ways that it's costing us money are that we're forgetting about things. When we have a ton of stuff in our house, a lot of inventory, we can't remember everything or where it is. We probably have something somewhere, but we end up just rebuying it anyways because it's easier to rebuy it than dig through our stuff and find it. And so we have multiples of things, but also we're forgetting about food that we've purchased, things that are probably expiring. Maybe it's bathroom products that are expiring, medication. We're buying things unnecessarily because we can't find the stuff that we have. And that is hugely wasteful. And here's the thing that I always find crazy. Whenever I declutter somebody's home, I always find lost money, like actual cold hard cash. It's like piles of money left in old pant pockets or purses, tons of gift cards that people have completely forgotten about, or checks that people have written them that they've never cashed. I once found over $1,000 in checks and gift cards under piles and piles and piles of clutter that were from a baby shower like 5 years before. That like crazy amounts of money lost in piles of clutter. This last one is definitely, for me, the thing that had the biggest impact. Like this cost me something so precious that I didn't even know that my clutter was costing me, and that was time. When I first started my journey of decluttering, I was shocked how much more time I had in the day. Like when I was living my most cluttered life, I could barely find time to have a shower. I felt rushed constantly. I was like, my house is a mess, and yet I'm not spending hours on the couch watching TV because I don't have the time to do it. And as things moved out, time moved in. I remember so vividly just at the end of the day going like, I have nothing to do. Everything's put away. I'm what the heck? This is banana pants. I gained so much time because I was no longer looking for things. I was no longer stuff shuffling. I wasn't spending hours managing the mess, and I had time to start a business. I had time to start new hobbies, visit people. I crush a lot of Netflix now. I watch so many movies now, and yet I still feel like I have more time in the day. Every time I let something get out of my house, I'm gaining time. And I personally think that is the most precious thing of all. Okay, I know I said the last one was the last one, but I also have to mention this, probably the most important. Let's be honest. The most important way that your mess and clutter is costing you is self-confidence. When you are living in a home that is messy and cluttered, you cannot help but feel bad about yourself. And I know for myself, I looked around at all my crap everywhere and I thought I was lazy. I didn't have enough self-discipline. Maybe I was stupid. Other people could manage their house and keep a clean house. Why couldn't I? I felt like such a failure as a mom, as a wife, as a human being. And this feeling of like, like self-loathing carried in every aspect of my life. I felt like I couldn't do anything right because I couldn't manage my house. And the truth was there was nothing wrong with me. I wasn't lazy. I wasn't undisciplined. I just had too much stuff. And it wasn't like a moral failing. I just had too much stuff. And when I was brave enough to say, I'm worth more than this stuff and junk I paid at 20 bucks for at Walmart. My happiness, my peace of mind, my time, my self-confidence is worth more. And I put stuff in trash bags and I loaded up the car with donations. And I did this every single freaking day. Wow. I realized I actually liked myself. I started feeling good about myself. I was no longer defined by my home and my lack of ability to maintain it. And I'm telling you, that changed everything. It changed my relationships and my finance. And it was the catalyst for a happier, healthier life. And you can have that too. And the only thing between you and all the things you want is the stuff you don't even want anyways, the stuff you don't even like anyways. It's costing you so much more than the money you spent on it. The money's gone. The money's, as soon as you bought it, it was out of your bank account. Holding it doesn't make you richer, and letting it go doesn't make you poorer. In fact, letting it go is going to give you money and time and all the things you're searching for in life. So I hope you're feeling inspired right now. I hope you look at your stuff a little differently because you deserve the home of your dreams. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Hey guys, thanks so much for those of you who have stayed to the end. I filmed this a couple of weeks before you're watching it, but it is officially the second day of summer break for my kids, and they are already bored. Day 2, they're bored. And we work from home, so it's hard to entertain them, especially Abby. She loves school. Like loves school. I don't know whose child she is, but she absolutely misses her friends and she misses the work. And she has the coolest group of friends who also miss school. So today, second day of break, they are getting together to create PowerPoints together. She's so excited. Her friends are all like, listen, we're getting together. Bring your laptops. There'll be no talking. We have 4 hours scheduled from 10 until 2. We're going to work on our PowerPoints, and then we are presenting our PowerPoints to each other right after dinner at 6 p.m. sharp. And then we will be grading each other's PowerPoints. And I'm like, kinda, it's second. You should be at the beach, maybe like, I don't know, doing shopping. Nope, my kids are making PowerPoint presentations. And they are so excited about it. Abby's PowerPoint presentation is which one of her friends equals which Disney princess. So she was doing some research and like her friends are like, don't start yet, Abby. And they have like video. I think this is adorable. And I was talking to Izzy. She's like, yeah, I make PowerPoints with my friends all the time. What kind of nerd world are we living in? And also, I definitely want to know which Disney princess I would be. I'm going with maybe like Rapunzel or Anna? I don't know. Let me know in the comments below what Disney princess you would be and why. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.